Hello everyone, I am Alka1993 and welcome to this Pokémon Vortex episode. This episode is being recorded on May 20th, and today and tomorrow it is double Exp Weekend on Pokémon Vortex. What that means is, all your Pokémon get double Exp! Whoa, mind blown, you wouldn't have guessed that from the title. Now, how can you really make use of that? Well, EXP can be useful for a few things. Obviously, your Pokemon become higher level, max 100, and gain HP and power in their moves because of that. Another thing that it does is, let's see, where is it? Top trainers. Your experience, your total and average experience of your Pokemon do give you a certain amount of points towards a top trainers list. So if you are very much looking forward to getting on that list or improving your position on it, then definitely make use of this weekend. Because some people like to be on that list or as high up as possible, you could also just train any level 100s up for more EXP and then try and trade that Pokemon to them for a lot of their Pokemon. They'll give you a lot of their stuff that you're looking for just for one thing with really high XP or maybe two, just because they want that experience. I'm not really interested in that, especially on the Shadow Ghoul account, which isn't my main account. Alka1993 is. But on Shadow Ghoul, I'm going to show you something else, which is just the leveling up of the Pokemon and how you can easily do that, especially now with a double EXP. The easiest way to do that is by using training accounts. Training accounts such as are accounts set up by other players, so it's not like by Vortex admin necessarily, and it never changes. But it is something that's set up by a different player who set up a team of Pokemon that generally of the exact same type, for example, all dragons here, so that you can train a certain amount of type, a certain amount of Pokemon, a certain type of Pokemon. Let's say a team full of Paras and Parasect would be really nice to help train your fire types. The unfortunate thing there is fire types don't have an immunity. So that Parasects, assuming they're level 100 to give you the best EXP possible, can still take out your fire type, which is really unfortunate. So the easiest way to train is using immunities. This team with dragons has doesn't actually affect fairies, and the teams are normally set up so that all moves on these Pokemon are of their own type to make sure that the immunity that you use is in effect. So I'm going to now change my team up and get an Autono in here. I'll show you exactly what I mean with immunity training. Then Starly. From this Starly onwards, the Pokemon I'll have in my team have been caught earlier today, but you'll not see that until a video which I'll upload in either tomorrow or in a few days from now, as that's only in a section of a video that I would have preferred to already have out, but things didn't really work out because let's just say I've really failed at trying to catch legendary Pokemon, because that video is coming up and I somehow really fail at it. Okay, let's see, we had a Starly, we had a Blitzel, I want to say. Yes, what else did we have? They were all normals. I'm going to use all the Pokemon that I caught in the episode. Could use others, but I want to use those. Yeah, Magnemite and Mareep. And then there was one more after that. Mareep for Metagross. And then we have one more. Which one was it? Pansear. There we go. Those are the ones you will see me catch in that episode. Okay. As I said, easiest way to make use of these training accounts is by using an immunity. Autono is part fairy type, also part normal, but normal doesn't hit things super effectively, although there is still a training account for that, two different ones. Autono is a fairy type, therefore has immunity to dragon. It really helps if fairy is actually super effective against dragon as well to make the training quicker. So, if we would go to the account we were at before, fairy unit, we could fight these Pokemon and then one-shot all of them because we have a pretty good move. With assuming you using the same type attack bonus or stab, Use a move that has at least 80 power and preferably fully accurate. Drill Peck, Dazzling Gleam in case of Mega Autono, is enough to do 400 damage even if you're normal Autono, not even Dark. The thing is, sometimes you would have lower level Pokemon. Only level 100 Mega Autono would be able to KO this Stratigan. As you can see here, if I use Dazzling Gleam, exactly 400 HP damage. If I would even be level 99, I wouldn't be able to one-shot them. Sure, I'd still win, but it's slower. So, where possible, you would want accounts that you don't just hit 2 times super effectively against, but 4 times, so that the training speeds up, especially for lower level Pokemon, where you have to attack the Pokemon a bunch of times. And for fairy training, that is actually possible on the account Training Xerneas, where all the opponents are Dark and Dragon, both weak to Fairy, and they've all been set up with only Dragon type moves. So you can make use of that, and even with a Pokemon that will be level 50, you would still be able to one-shot these Pokemon, which is super nice. Now, Autono was already level 100, so I'm not really going to train it that much just to train Autono. I'm going to train some other Pokemon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to training a Veltal after I put a different Pokemon up front, Starly up front. Then we're going to training a Veltal, which is a flying type training account with 6 Pokemon that are 4 times weak to flying. But flying has an immunity to ground, and these are grass fightings. Where's the ground? Well, as long as the Pokemon is able to use 4 moves of the type you're immune to, in this case ground, it's fine. A Chestnut can learn Bulldoze, Dig, Mudshot, and Earthquake, so no problem there. Every type has its own hidden power. There's no hidden power normal, but every type has its hidden powers. Every Pokemon that can learn TMs can learn hidden power, and therefore already has 1 move. They only need 3 others. So, Chestnut's here to help train the Starly. I have a flying move here and wing attack. Doesn't really deal that much damage. However, due to the fact that Starly is immune, I can just continuously keep attacking and get a EXP that way, and a good amount of money. This is, by the way, also a good way to get money. There's no doubled money this weekend, so it's more about the EXP, but you can get some really nice money here. The money and the money and the EXP you get depend on the total level of Pokemon you used. You count them all together, count all the opponents' Pokemon's levels together, and then do a certain formula with the division, like your opponent's thing divided by yours, or how much it is compared to the other. Because I'm pretty sure that under normal conditions, if your Pokemon are the same level total than the opponents, you get 500 EXP, and that's always all Pokemon. So if, let's say, 3 Pokemon participated and you get 500 EXP, all of them gain 500. It's not like 500 divided by 3. But the lower your total level is compared to the opponent, the better the EXP and the money you get. So you can assume with just a level 9 Pokemon against what is total level 600, you'll get a lot of money in EXP. Now, when you're trying to train up your Pokemon to level 100, or just to get them higher level to evolve, and you're making use of these training accounts, then you'll get a lot of levels in one go, but only as a level 5 Pokemon will you instantly go to level 100. It takes a while, especially with a weaker move such as Peck, and maybe you're against a training account that doesn't have a 4 times weakness. But anyway, only with a level 5 Pokemon will you then instantly go to level 100. Others, for example level 6, 7s, 8s, maybe 9s, would have to do the same training account twice to get there, and others would have to do it many more times. For example, level 20 won't boost with as much EXP, because that's 4 times higher level than a level 5, therefore 4 times less EXP. And with the amount of EXP you get, that's a lot of levels that you don't get, so you'd have to do the training account multiple times. So even though the initial fight would take longer with a level 5, you do instantly get to level 100, which is the quickest way to go. As you can see here, 66,667 experience points. Nice 33,334 Poké Dollars for this Starly. And if you go to my team, that's level 100. And you only need 50,000 EXP to be in level 100, and you already start with 2,500 as a level 5 Pokemon. So the only thing you need is 97,500 EXP. No, not 97. 47,500 EXP to get to level 100 with the lowest level possible, level 5. And as you can see, I had a level 9 and I got well over what I needed to get to level 100, which is really nice. So I can just evolve that and have some fancier moves, which is really nice. Now there are Pokemon, such as this Blitzel, which don't actually have an immunity. Sure, we could try and throw it into an electric thing. Actually, yeah, I will show you what would happen there, especially with the Pokemon list level 7, although the same can happen with level 20. Here on the Vortex forums, there's a list of a lot of trading accounts. I've noticed there's a few missing that are new, although this is somewhat of an old post. It's over a year old. There's a few new ones to my knowledge now. But okay, let's look. Electric Tradings is either Training Kyurem or Thunderstick. Surprising that it's Kyurem actually, because Kyurem isn't electric, but you can have, alright, Training Kyurem or Thunderstick. Let's see what both of them have. Training Kyurem. And Training Kyurem allows you to hit with electricity. And in this case, the Pokemon can, well, you can't go for an immunity that electric types have because they don't have it, but you can give these Pokemon status moves that don't deal damage and that don't affect them in any other way either, like with Thunder Wave. So from before the moveset update, Butterfree was able to learn Splash and then Harden and String Shot from Caterpie and Metapod. But unfortunately, there is no fourth move that doesn't do anything annoying to your opponent, so there's Infestation as a really weak move. Unfortunately, like, we can keep hitting it, but unfortunately an Infestation actually instantly takes it out. And something similar I think would happen if we go to, is it Thunderstick? With Feebas. Unfortunately, Splash and Leer, yeah sure, but Hidden Power, Electric, and Tackle, even though it's weak, then it can still take you out. So how do you effectively train such a Blitzel or any other Pokemon without immunity? Well, you make use of the immunity of a different Pokemon. Right now, I have both an Audino and a Staraptor at level 100 with an immunity. So what I then do is just go to Training Xerneas and send in Blitzel first. Most likely, it will be taken out first hit. Not a problem. I now send in my Audino, and I'm able to easily sweep the entire battle. Now, if you remember the level comparison, which decides the EXP from what I explained before, my total level is now 107. Opponent's total level is still 600. My total is now 107, as opposed to just the 9 of the previous full fight that I did with Starly. So I would gain quite a lot less experience. It won't really gain Audino any levels, just the XP, maybe for the top trainers list if you'd like that. So I only gained 5,607, and that is with the double EXP. So it isn't exactly a quick gain of levels, although this, I feel, is still the most effective way. So I'll just do this, taken out. In the higher levels, it may take a few hits to be taken out, actually. Forgot to switch to Dazzling Gleam there. But these battles really take maybe 20 seconds if you just continue clicking. And with that, you can do many battles in just a few minutes and still get Blitzel high up some levels. So just over 5,000 EXP. Without the double EXP, that'd be 2,500 EXP, which is still 5 levels. Now it's 10 levels, otherwise it would be just over 5 levels, which is still really nice. I clicked the wrong button because you'd probably just want to continue fighting until you get the level you want. Maybe just to evolve the Pokemon, you want to get it to a certain level. Maybe you want to get it to level 100, in which case you would continue doing this for a while, and then maybe after a certain point, if you feel confident enough, then you can go against this was a Thunderstick or Training Kyurem, fighting the Butterfree or the Feebas and then trying to get it with that, so that if you're a bit lucky enough and you have enough HP to either survive the tackle or hidden power, or in Butterfree's case the infestation, and then you do win, then sure, Blitzel, let's say, might be at level 60 right now, then, or Zeb Strike if it has evolved, but you don't have the 100 levels of Autono, so the total EXP you gain in that fight with Blitzel would be higher. Blitzel can already evolve. That's what I wanted to show with that. We have a Magnemite, so Magnemite does have its own immunity. It is a Steel type, therefore has immunity to Poison. So Poison Soda and Tetrodotoxin. Let's see what both of those accounts have. What did I say it was? Poison Soda. Poison Soda. Hey! Huh? That's weird. That's not a poison type. Well, as long as it has poison moves, which it really only has one of, which I find strange. I suppose I understand that Whimsicott is being used due to the fact that Whimsicott is a fairy type, therefore weak to steel, which makes the training a bit faster, just like with the training I did with the ground immunity for Starly. I was up against a Chestnut, but that one knew 4 ground moves and still allowed the 4 times weakness to take effect to make my training quicker. Unfortunately, there's only one move that wouldn't do anything, so especially for a weak Pokemon, this account won't really work too well. So the suggestion from last time applies. Use the immunity of a different Pokemon, Staraptor, Autono, that has an immunity, and then maybe use the Pokemon on its own when it is a higher level. Possibly has some better moves when it has evolved. For example, this Magnemite into Magneton or even Magnezone. We are going to check out what Tetrodotoxin is for a training account, though. See if that one works better. Tetrodotoxin. Once again, remember that these accounts were all set up by certain players. Especially the training accounts that start with training, such as training Groudon, training Xerneas, training Yveltal. Most of those were set up by the exact same player, which is actually a regular in the Vortex Discord chat as well. They're really nice to set that up for everyone. Probably took them a while to do, but they managed it, and it's working out really well for everyone to get some EXP, get some nice trading about that. And some others have tried to do that, but maybe to a lesser effect. For example, this steel thing isn't really possible, at least doesn't seem that way with the 2 training accounts we've seen for it so far. Although if you think about it, there's bound to be a Pokemon that at least has 4 poison moves. At least a team full of poison types, they are bound to have 4 poison moves. As I said, there's always hidden power, so these Florges would be able to learn, or even the Whimsicott from the previous fight. If you just give them hidden power poison, that already gives them another move that doesn't affect steel types, which would work better to help training accounts. That is a suggestion for someone who wants to build a good steel type training account. Would that not be out there when you're watching this video? Even then, things like fairy types, what's other things that's weak to steel? Rock is weak to steel, ice is weak to steel. Maybe some of those Pokemon know more poison moves, such as Poison Powder, Toxic. I'm not sure if Poison Powder and Toxic, do they affect steel types? Because Thunder Wave, I'm not sure if Thunder Wave actually affects ground types, but I know that things like Thunder Punch and Thunderbolt, even though there's immunity on by ground on the electric types, it can still paralyze on Pokémon Vortex anyway, so I'm not sure how the status effect would normally apply. However, things like Sludge Bomb and things like that, Toxic, they might be able to be learned by some Ice, Rock, Fairy types as well. So it is, I feel, possible to at least make a more helpful training account for the Steel type. So for Magnemite as well, in this case, what I'd go to training Yveltal again. Oops, I'm taken out, especially with the double weakness to ground. But that doesn't matter, it doesn't change the XP that I obtain. I just really quickly go here with Staraptor against the Chestnuts. That's 4 Chestnuts. That's 5 Chestnuts. And that's 6 Chestnuts. 5,357 experience. Level 22. A nice amount of gains. So with Mareep and Pantier, I'd be able to do the exact same. First, make use of the immunities of others if the Pokemon doesn't have an immunity in themselves to make good use of. As I said, Magnemite does have an immunity, but there isn't at the moment, at least to me, a known trading account. Maybe it is out there, it just isn't posted here. If you know about one for steel, please let me know. That's more useful. You can have something like Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, and then there's some status moves such as Splash or Wish or anything that doesn't actually affect the attacking Pokemon in any way. That would be helpful. Or just even some pure poison types such as Viper or Arbok that have 4 poison moves would be helpful for Magnemite. It would take a lot longer to take the opponent out, especially considering there is no weakness involved in that fight, no 4 times weakness, not even a 2 times weakness. But at least you can take a Pokemon such as a weak Magnemite and get him up some high levels as well. As I said, as a level 5, even without the double Exp Weekend, that could get that Pokemon straight to level 100. So if someone's willing to make an account like that, or try it with a Fairy, Ice, Rock type, that might have a good amount of status moves that don't do anything to the attack or poison moves, please do that. I would be willing to see it. I'm very excited to see that happen. Would help me and a lot of other players as well, training up steel types such as this Magnemite. That was the episode for today. Soon I will have an episode where I hunt for legendaries, of which I've recorded most of the video already. The rest I'll probably record tomorrow, but we'll see about that. Let's just say things don't go too well. But it's a really fun video, I'd say, so look forward to that. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.